And a big aloha. This is Talk Story, Maui's longest running talk show, and we're so happy to be here with the one and only Barry Rivers, who was able to call in. Yay, Barry, how are you?
I'm good. Thanks for understanding. I just could not make it in today. I got too much going on right now. So.
It makes me feel unimportant, but you know what? What's ego anyway? I need my ego stomped
really?
on. Yeah, I mean...
Becoming nobody, babe. You should see the film.
We have 48,000 listeners a week, Barry. Okay, a
well,
little R-E-S-P-E-C-T, please. No, I love you, Barry. I do. And
how could you not?
I know. How could I not? I mean, me and your dog, right?
Those are the two. Yeah, Stella gets in this. Headline is 1% for Stella. But we're just both so busy these days. It's kind of like 1% for Barry right now, too. It's just really the busiest time.
It is, I know. Yeah. And but for those who may not know what in the world I'm talking about, the Maui Film Festival is coming June 12th through the 16th.
It is?
And it's the 20th anniversary. I can't believe it. 20 years, Barry. Can you believe it? Oh, my God.
Way too many.
But you know what? You've always had your finger on the pulse. And I have in my right hand the old new brochure. And on my left hand, I have the latest Time magazine with a wonderful interview with Olivia Wilde. Not Oscar Wilde. Olivia Wilde.
Really?
Yeah, big feature on her and what she's done and how she's become what she is and how important this new movie is and how it came to be. So there you go. Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
I knew you didn't. That's why I told you.
When is that? I'm just curious. When does that issue come out? Is it literally today?
Well, I don't even know because it's on a mailing list. I don't know if it's out to the general public because it was mailed. It's the one that's got the Equalizer on the cover and just came in today by mail.
Did you say Time magazine?
Yeah, Time. Yeah.
Oh. Didn't realize they were still publishing that.
Stop that.
Just kidding.
Oh, God. Okay. So anyway, you've got, obviously...
It's one hell of a pamphlet.
Yeah, it is. And it's an impressive list of superstars that you brought. And I know you like that. And it is quite a coup. I mean, and just in case we need to prove to other people how important you are, you can just look at the list of people who also feel that way and come.
No, that's a nice way to think of it. I never really paid much attention to that. But, honestly, I think the reason they come is because they've heard from so many other people. Well, number one, many of these people, not all, but many of them have been asked several times or more than several times to come out, and they're just always busy. That's why everyone knows their names. Paul Rudd being one example. I think we've asked him 8 or 9 times.
Really? Wow. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And to my amazement and surprise, he was interested in doing this right after he had done all these around-the-world tours to promote the 2 movies he's in right now. But we're thrilled to have him, and he's our opening night honoree. But I just honestly think it's the experience, truly. The thing that we hear over and over and over again, which has been said many times from the Celestial Cinema stage by many different honorees over the years, is that they just things feel different to them here. They get it. They get it in large part just because that is what Maui exudes, and people pick up on pretty quickly, especially when they're coming from a big city like L.A. But it's also the way they're treated by people, the people that they meet, the way the festival. We really treat people well. We don't go overboard, but we really treat the people that we honor well. Well, we treat everyone well, but the people that we honor really find this to be a special experience among all the other things they've done. Often, the VIP at whatever those other things might be. So, I think the people we go after are people that we hope are not sort of driven by the accolades and the fawning, but rather driven by the experience of, having their film screened here or just enjoying 4 or 5 days outside of the real world and just dropping into this Life Well Lived festival that we built for ourselves here in the perfect place to do it. Wailea is a pretty special location to do this kind of a thing. The weather, the ocean, the resorts, the whole thing is kind of made for this.
Have you found that most of these people have been here before? I'm kind of wondering if some of them have said...
Yes and no.
Yeah.
I'd say maybe over the years, so like 20 years, maybe half or, maybe 60%, even 65% of the people have been here before. But a lot of people haven't. I mean, the one that always pops to mind is Owen Wilson. He had never been to Maui, period, until we had him here and honored him quite some number of years now. I want to say it was in 2005. I'm not sure if it's that long ago. I'm going to have to turn off my phone from ringing here.
Yeah, I thought it was wind chimes. Yeah, okay.
Sounds like the Hunchback of Notre Dame, right?
No, it sounded like those wind chimes.
My phone was screwed up. Just one sec.
Okay.
My phone was screwed up, and they brought it back to life, but what they didn't do was hold on to the settings that I had. That's not normally my tone. Anyway, so people have fallen in love with the fisher. Helen Hunt, I don't know, so I think she had been here before we had her, but but she chose to move here for lots of reasons, I'm sure. But I think the festival really sort of was one of them. So there's been, it's yes and no is your answer to the question. But yeah, certainly a lot of people have experienced it for the first time, or experienced Wailea for the first time, for that matter. And yeah, they love the place.
Well, I was talking to a wonderful lady, Sharon, who came in today to drop off these.
Sharon Munson?
Yes. Draper.
Sharon Draper, sorry, yeah.
A really nice lady, and she dropped off these beautiful ones. And she gets to work, and she's just thrilled to be able to work with you and these people, of course, and everything. And she said, I get to be a stage manager. Well, how cool is that, But I saw a picture you posted, which was on Facebook.
I posted?
Well, someone posted a picture of you and the crew on Sunday night.
Stella. Yeah, we had a little
a gathering.
Party.
Yeah. And I just want to give a shout out to all those people, Stella and all the people that really do make it possible. I mean, you're running around like a chicken with its head cut off, but it
cultured chicken with its head cut off.
But with the help of all the great people you've got, it is something that people really do look forward to every year here. And not just here. I mean, there's many people that come in for it, right?
Yeah, you know what? I actually I haven't looked at the numbers for a couple of weeks now, but about 2 weeks ago maybe, I looked at the addresses that people were giving us, when they bought tickets online. We've had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of tickets bought online by this point in time. But a couple of weeks ago, I looked at it, and it was about 46.8% or something were from the mainland.
Whoa.
The balance were from other places in the world or Maui, but mostly Maui by far, of that other 50, whatever it is, 50.
Interesting.
But it knocked me out. I was so surprised that there was a higher number than it was the last time I really took a close look at it, when it was more like in the high 30s, low 40s. So I guess it's getting out there. Or the resorts, are full in general. People feel safer coming to Hawaii than other places in the world, and they somehow find out what's going on here when they're here, and they've been buying a lot of tickets to the festival this year. So whatever the reason, we definitely have people coming here from all over the world for this thing, for sure. We had actually, I think it was 46 countries submitted films to this year's festival. That's more than ever before.
And it's pretty much interesting to see how people around the world, when you go to film festivals, and I know you go to quite a few, time permitting, and money, I guess, too, that a lot of people know about.
Money? What's money? I haven't seen that for a while.
Know about the film festival, and some really prestigious other film festivals. They've heard about you.
For some reason, we're hot as hell in India.
I can understand.
I was talking to a guy, and trying to get some information about one of my credit card accounts, and he just sounded like he was from some other place. We had this nice sort of back and forth, getting done what I needed to do, and then I said to him, I'm just curious, where are you? He said, I'm in India. I said, oh, really? He said, and I had to give him the name of the card, so he knew that I was someone from the Maui Film Festival. He says, it's very big here, the Maui Film Festival. People know all about it. I was like, what?
I don't know.
It made no sense to me at all. And then I realized, Frida Pinto, probably when we honored her a couple of years ago, I mean, it must be her as much as any other single thing that just lit up that country about this film festival. We've had a lot of films submitted from India. They're kind of an acquired taste. We've accepted some on occasion. This year, I don't know if any made it in, but they're a little too violent for our taste lots of times. But but other places like Kazakhstan and Iran and
wow.
Israel. I mean, it's like all over the world. South America. It's amazing to me.
Well, I do love that, and the fact that you've become the film festival for the whole state of Hawaii and stand out is something that you love to call. Yeah, that and the Jewelbox. I love the Jewelbox. I want to hear the sound of a Jewelbox, please.
But can't do that.
I know.
Actually, I'm doing 5 nights of the sound of a Jewelbox. You just got to come to Celestial Cinema to hear it. So.
I like you at home. You have a good sense of humor.
I'm in my pajamas, my dog's sitting at my side.
No, that explains it. Well, we went down the list pretty much last week, but I want to go back over some things. We really were in a rush last week. We only had a half an hour.
Me in a rush? What are you talking about?
You were not only that, you were getting over your cold, which I caught. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, right.
No, I didn't I caught some cold, but
my ear has cleared. It's heaven on earth.
Good. I know the feeling. Mine's not cleared. But let's talk over some things that we really think are very important that sometimes people forget about. And I would like to put in that category the filmmaker panels.
Uh-huh.
I think,
you know what? Give me just 10 seconds to turn around and bring
your flyer?
Just one second. I just wrote I sort of populated them in terms of the filmmakers and the moderators and stuff, and I just wrote the descriptions of them last night, so I can.
Well, I'll talk about it while you're doing.
I have the computer right here, but
while you're populating and continuing to populate, the filmmaker panels, I think, are one of the hidden jewels of the Jewelbox. I'd call this the diamond in the Jewelbox, because what happens here is you get some of these brilliant people who you can talk to one-on-one and listen to as if you were literally in their living room. But instead you're under these beautiful trees outside at this luscious resort and able to really get some inside information. And I know if anyone's ever wanted to make a film or has been a film aficionado, that this is the one that you want to go to. The filmmaker panels are astoundingly good.
They're really good this year, and they're really different as well. I'm just popping open the. Here we go. So you want to just talk about them a little bit?
Yeah. The first one is supposed to be amazing at 10:30, right?
Yeah. Well, just know that we've changed the timing of them. That one stayed the same. It's still a one-on-one with Louis Schwartzberg, who's made this incredible movie called Fantastic Fungi: The Magic Beneath Us, and also is receiving the festival's Visionary Award this year for only the second time. The only other person we've given it to is the Dalai Lama, and we gave it to him for inspiring the mission statement and vision of the festival. And this has been many years. I forget, maybe it was 05 or 06 that we did that. He accepted the award from us. And Louis has been a longtime friend, but more importantly, and the reason he got the award is because he is probably the preeminent time-lapse cinematographer on Earth, has been for quite a while. And there's a way that time-lapse, when it's done as beautifully and at such a high level as he's able to do it, that is really revelatory about nature and the power of nature and the beauty of nature and the magic of it all. I mean, it's a really well-chosen word, the magic beneath us, or subtitle rather. So, I think that among all the things that people most need these days, the thing they need most is to realize where they live, and it's not on their iPhone screens, and it's not in their big screen 60-inch TVs, and it's not even in a big 50-foot wide movie screen, even if it's under the stars and under the moon, as ours is. They need to get in touch with the planet that is their home, and that they should begin to understand and treat more like that more often, because that's really where it's going. People, you got to get scratched up a little bit. You got to sort of get stuck in the rain. You got to get your feet muddy. You got to know where you live. And this work that he does really opens another world of how the world works, especially the natural world. So, anyway, I'm totally thrilled about it, and I'm totally inspired by it. And I think the work he's doing is as important as any other filmmaker is doing, or frankly has done ever. Period.
And that's why you put him on at 8 o'clock for the Celestial Cinema on the opening night.
I'm opening the festival with him, exactly. Most people
and giving him the award then.
Fungi opening the festival? What the hell are you thinking? But all I can tell you is, for those of you that don't know anything about it, go to our website, MauiFilmFestival.com, and when you get there, you'll be on the homepage. Feel free to look at that if you like. It gives you sort of an overview of the festival. But the link to the right on the navigation bar, at least on if you're looking at it on your computer, there are those little 3 or 4 squiggly lines in the upper right-hand corner of a mobile device. But basically, if you go, we have this festival so cleanly laid out this year. It's hour to hour, day by day, first for the Celestial, then for the Castle, then for the Shorts. So if you go to the link that says 2019 schedule, just to the right of the link, which is the homepage link, and you click the top option you have, it'll take you into sort of a grid or a checkerboard where you get to see everything that we're showing, and each thing leads, by clicking on it, leads to its trailer and the bigger image of its poster and the synopsis and so forth, and the day, date, and time. So I would just suggest anyone take a look at that Louis Schwartzberg trailer for Fantastic Fungi if they want to get a feel for why I'm going so crazy over how talented this guy is. But he's just that talented. And he's going to be interviewed by a longtime friend of mine, and actually someone who's done this before for us. Most recently, it was a few years ago, he did an hour conversation with Luis Ayhoyas, who had just come here with Racing Extinction and who had won the Academy Award for The Cove, and really, really sort of peeled back the onion on the kind of work he does, why he does it, what drives him. And they eventually got into talking about financing and some of these other questions when the event opened for Q&A. So Ron's going to interview Louis this year, and I think it's going to be truly an hour not to miss if you really want to get inside the mind of a brilliant filmmaker.
And that's one-on-one with Louis at 10:30 at the Wailea Beach Resort on Saturday. Now, a lot of your special passes will include this. I know the Comet Pass does.
Yeah, anything that's above the level of a basic pass. I mean, I think actually there's the Rising Star, which is the 4 users you choose entries to the MACC Castle Theater, but only that venue. And then there's a Shooting Star, which is any film, any venue, unlimited number of them. Yeah. And I want to say that one includes the filmmakers panels as well. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure that it does.
Yeah.
You can find this on the web. And then, yes, if you buy not so much a Taste of Wailea or Taste of whatever else ticket, those tickets all include, which a lot of people don't know, they also include admission to the night of that parties, which is to say opening night is Wednesday, so Wednesday night's films. So you get a chance to go to the double feature. It's always a double feature out there. This year we also have an honoree on every night. Some nights there are a few shorts that show as well, or there's a halal. We have the halal kekua o kala'au ala iliahi. Try and say that 3 times fast.
I'm impressed.
Every time I get to the festival, after finally memorizing that name, I go into the men's locker room when I get there, and I just howl it out at the top of my lungs in the echoey men's room, and they just go crazy that that's how they can nail it. And it's a great halal. I think they came in second or third at Mary Monarch one year. They're just wonderful, and the people, Haunani and her husband, are just fantastic people to work with. So we call them the unofficial official halal of the Maui Film Festival, and they love that, and we love them. So anyway, that's going to happen. They're performing on Wednesday night and Saturday night. So anyway, that's the first filmmakers panel. You want me to talk about the next one?
Yeah. The next one's at. Is that still 11:30 for the next one?
No, the next one's actually going to change. It's still at 11:30, but it's now the So You Want to Make Movies panel. It just worked out better for the people who we wanted to have on the panel.
Right.
Those people include Joe Manganiello and his brother Nick.
Wow.
The lead actor and producer of the movie, and his brother is the co-producer. And it also includes the writer-directors from a film called The Peanut Butter Falcon that stars Shia LaBeouf and what's her name? Dakota Johnson and
the one that you're showing on Thursday night at 10.
Yeah, it's so we're showing it so far in advance of its release that they don't have a poster or a trailer for the film. People are going to have to trust me on this one. But certainly, the film that Joe Manganiello and his brother made called Bottom of the Ninth is worth the price of admission in and of itself. Joe's getting an award that night from us, and his wife Sofia Vergara will be there to present it to him, and then so the Peanut Butter Falcon, anyway, is this wonderful, heartfelt movie about a young guy who's mentally challenged, living in a home for people that sort of, have a hard time living on their own, but just dreams of being a World Wrestling Federation wrestler, and a sort of semi-near-do-well hanger-on decides to take him at his word and spring him loose out of the home that he's in, and take him on a journey, sort of Tom Sawyer-like on a raft with a half-baked sail, and to go and find the wrestler that he is just crazy about. So it's like a wonderful, warm-hearted, touching, beautiful movie. So there's that, and then the other film we're having people from on that panel is a film called Plus One, and that's it's sort of a comedy about 2 longtime good friends, each of whom agrees to take the other to the weddings they get invited to as their quote-unquote plus one. And it's very funny, it's very sharp, it's a little saucy, more than a little saucy, but just a great time at the movies. I think I told you the last time I saw you, if people remember the O in Ohio or the Death at a Funeral, which we showed out there to like a couple of thousand people laughing their Ocolis off, that's what this is going to be. We showed the British version of that film, which was way better than the American version, but there was so much laughter in the hall that night that's going to be a special night out there. As far as the Night of Celestial Cinema, but so that's that panel. It's called So You Want to Make Movies. I sort of I kill the lead line. It basically is about people that have this passion, and it is not easy and it's not always fun. But the way you get to make a movie is you just grind it out,
and get funding.
Get funding. It helps if you can fund it yourself. But a lot of people don't and can't, and they find funding other places and make it happen. So it's how much desire you have to get it done, and how good the idea is, or at least other people view the ideas as being, and as to whether or not they want to play with you. So that's the 11:30 panel. They're all about 50 minutes long, and then the next one would be the panel at 12:30, I believe it is. Yeah, and this one is. I realize I have a typo on this right now. I should just change it, although it's probably in the book already. Oh shoot! Just a second. Hold on.
To entertain or enlighten.
I hit the wrong thing. And
that is the question.
Yeah, it's called, is that what it's called? Is that the one? Yeah.
Well, that's one of the panels.
Yep.
That was 12:30 to 1:20 on the sheet on the
Oh, no,
brochure.
the next one's called Changing the World, One Film at a Time.
Oh, okay.
It's the same titles. It's just that we moved them around a little bit to accommodate people's schedule. So this is a film, says that whether your passion is to create a 4-minute short or a 90-minute feature, if the cinema activist in you is driven to push back against those things you believe need to be challenged by alternative voices and images, then the experiences of this eclectic group of filmmakers is just what the doctor ordered. So again, that's Changing the World, One Film at a Time, and it's a real mix of people. There's a beautiful film that I love. It's going to show at Celestial Cinema called We La Gente, or actually hashtag We La Gente.
Where is that going to be showing at?
It's going to be showing. That one's going to be showing on the night of Gina Rodriguez's tribute at the Celestial Cinema.
Oh, okay.
And it's just a film of a whole bunch of beautiful talking heads, all of whom are dreamers, just speaking about their experiences of America and what they feel for America and how they feel about America. And it's just wonderful. It's a real kind of tearjerker, but it's just super important. And then, so that's like just a little 4-minute film, but it made it in because it was just that good and that important, I think, right now in the culture. The next film is a film called, it's called Climate. I didn't put the name of his film in here. Beyond Climate. Sorry, Beyond Climate. And that's a film that, I realize that there's some mistakes in this thing that are correct. That's a film that is narrated by David Suzuki. Anyone who knows environmental heroes knows David Suzuki. He's a Canadian based in Vancouver, and he narrates this film about the challenges that climate change forces us to deal with, whether we like it or not. So the director of the film is going to be here. His name is Ian Mauro, M-A-U-R-O, and he'll be here. That's a 49-minute sort of long short, actually considered a feature by the Academy Awards.
Yeah.
They go over 44 minutes.
Yeah.
And then we have a double barrel filmmaker here. It's a woman. Her name, though, is Alex Barreto. You might imagine it to be a man. And she's done 2 really, really funny short films. One's called Certifiable, and one's called Lady Hater. They're showing Lady Hater of all places before the Ram Dass film, Becoming Nobody. It's funny as hell.
So these are the ones, so in case people have lost where you are.
I'm sorry?
You have jumped now, you're now to the short films that are happening.
Well, that's the short films. I'm just to one of the film panels where short filmmakers and some feature filmmakers that haven't gone through the whole list.
I got you. I was lost there. So
no,
this
they
is still...
sort of share this, the notion that, or the umbrella that Changing the World One Film at a Time is what they made their films
So
to
these
do.
are the people that are going to be on that panel.
On the panel, right, yes.
Gotcha.
So Michelle Eschrich, who people may remember from Saint Misbehavin', as in not Ain't, but Saint Misbehavin'. That was a film on Wavy Gravy.
Yep.
So she's done a film on Daryl Hammond, who is had a really challenging life and has managed to really make incredible strides to have something very much approaching a normal life, even though he's still challenged by stuff. It's this is one of those films, along with one a bit further down in this list here called One, which is done by a directing team called Lauren Duback and Michael Godicke. And they're from L.A. So they've written a film, or produced a film, I should say, about, and directed a film about the opioid crisis. And Michelle Eschrich has done a film about child abuse. But they're both like, tell me something I didn't know, rather than the same as different day kind of a thing. So they're really cracking open the coconut into these topics with very enlightened approaches to their filmmaking and to the subject at hand. Like Lauren Duback and Michael, dovetailed a lot of Alan Watts quotes and sort of insights into human life and human beings, period, into their film in a way that you just don't see that when you see your film about a lot of people shooting up or just ruining their lives just from getting unfortunately for them caught in this web of darkness and overdosing and stuff. So, but these films are ultimately really uplifting. Both of them are, and I don't try to shy away from stuff that's tough. And these films are definitely not that, but they are really smart and important. As is Like. There's a film we have called Like about the impact of social media on everybody, but especially sort of on younger, somewhat younger than, and teenage kids. And that, by the way, I just saw a guy on TV this morning. He wrote a book called Zucked. Like, change the first name and you know what he's really trying to say. Mm-hmm. And it's all about how Amazon, and especially at Facebook, which he was an early investor in, really are just taking they're just taking huge advantage of people's data, and it's not good, and he's really trying to work to make it stop. There's a big movement now to really jam down the amount of freedom people have that you give your information to use it beyond the need that you are expressing when you reach out to them about whatever it is they're doing that you're interested in. So anyway, that's a really important film. So that's that panel, and that's on at 12:30 on Saturday, June 15th. And then the last panel is called To Enlighten or Entertain, Granted, I wrote, granted it's not a binary choice. With rare exception, most all successful films are a hybrid of both. The trick to making movies that matter mandates that every filmmaker must decide which path their passion is most aligned with, and jump in with both feet and hold on to both dear life to make a film worth watching. And these people here really know how to do it. One of them is a film called Rise Up. Again, this is a beautiful and important film that's going to be followed after its 7:30 screening at the MACC on closing night at the MACC. We have a closing night, obviously, on the other side, but at the MACC, this film's going to screen from 7:30 to 9, maybe 9:15-ish. There'll be a Q&A in the theater, but there'll also be, when you come out of the theater, I should know their name by now, but they used to be called Mapenzi Marimba, or Marimba Mapenzi, I can't remember what, but it's basically an African music band that plays a lot of bamboo xylophones and plays other instruments and will get you off your feet. So that's going to happen in the Candlelight Cafe for people who've attended.
So that's 7:30 with Marimba Camborea?
Well, the film is at 7:30, but yeah, Camborea, yeah. But the party will start at 7 and be there for people coming to the 7:30 show who are waiting to get into that next show, and people who are coming out of the 5:30 show and just want to have a little something to eat in the Candlelight Cafe. And they'll be playing music out there for most of the time while people are inside the theater, and then after that, people come out. It's about an hour and a half or so that they can just enjoy, networking and meeting new people, and
nice.
Enjoying some great music and dancing.
So 7 to 10 on that one.
I'm sorry?
7 o'clock to 10 o'clock if you want
to
see.
Yeah, we've been told we can go to 10:30 as long as it doesn't get too loud. So, but yeah, that'll be some fun stuff out there.
What a nice way to close out the film festival for people who are on
this
side.
Well, for people on this side, I wanted to do something special that was sort of more like a social event for years now, and this year being the 20th, I just made the effort to make it happen, so that's going on. And there are a few other filmmakers on there. One of a beautiful film called Sophia World, which is a freak-out film, and that's about AI, and what's coming is not anything that I want to be around for. That's just me. But it's a really brilliant look into that world with a very creatively written and directed a short film that runs about 10 minutes maybe or something like that.
Which is going to be showing during the time of the shorts. We'll be able to see that.
That's going to show, let's see, where's that going to show? I think that's showing at... before some film, I don't remember which, although this stuff is all in the flyer.
Yeah.
If people have not yet picked up the flyer, they're putting them out today, and they put them out yesterday and the day before, so they should be out there.
Yeah.
And then the last film on that particular thing, to entertain or enlighten, is the director and executive producer, a young woman named Erin Durham, and she's just created a beautiful film about, of all things, taxidermy, the art and science of taxidermy. And it's really more about people who dedicate their lives to keeping certain endangered animals alive and to providing the sort of sculptures and the replications for dioramas at museums all over the world to sort of give people a feel for what it looks like, that animal looks like in its native habitat and so forth. So it's a beautiful, beautiful film, a perfect second film after Fantastic Fungi, The Magic Beneath Us on Wednesday night at the Celestial Cinema. So that's a whole bunch of stuff right there, and I'm happy to talk about more if you want to ask some more questions.
I just think it's great to have that, and I'm glad we don't usually have time to go down the whole filmmaker panels list, but I just wanted to put a little emphasis on it because it is so special, and if you go, you really get a whole different look about the importance of filmmaking and the people that you can get information from, you can get inspired from, you can network with, and so I've always felt that was a super important thing to go to. Now, with that said, I know that night's a big night because there's the Taste of Wailea, and that always sells out, and I think you say it's pretty close to being sold out. It's going to be sold out again this year. Yeah, we have limited
tickets left for people who are buying either Stardust passes or Cosmos passes, but single tickets are sold out. Yeah, we just had a really good run on them. I mean, they were, frankly, is my way of thanking people for all the support over all these years. They were just $125 when they went out. That's lower than they've been since the first year of the festival. And we also had, that's the Taste of Wailea. We had Taste of Chocolate and Taste of Summer out there at $100 a piece, which is also way less than they've ever been. So, and people took advantage of them. They're all sort of selling robustly. Taste of Wailea, we're done selling single tickets, but people can attend if they want to purchase a Stardust pass or a Cosmos pass. We have a few openings for that kind of thing. And the others are, I think, still both available as single ticket purchase. And by the way, if I didn't say it, which I think I might have, any Taste ticket includes admission to that night's Celestial Cinema. So there's that extra sort of gravy in the ticket price. I want to just say one quick thing, which is that everything I just read to you is not yet up on our web. I wrote it last night and sent it like at 3 o'clock in the morning or something to the guy that does our ebook, Ron Canar, does a great job. He's done it for almost the first year. So Ron's going to have it for what he needs it for in the ebook, but Cynthia, who pulls our website together, will have it. I haven't even sent it to her yet, I don't think, but she'll have it to be able to put up on a special page that we have for the filmmakers panels online on the website. It's not up yet, just know that, but it should be by later tonight or tomorrow.
And I do want to say there's a lot that goes on beyond belief, beyond the scenes to make this all happen. I mean, it's so massive. Yeah, I mean, you're dealing with all of the hotels and the people are dealing with the transportation and the arrivals and also getting the people here and getting all the information on getting the PR done and getting all the stuff set with the people who expect a lot of time and attention for the film companies, of course, with the arrangements of getting all the films there, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, I will just say the fellow who's our, one of the festival's co-directors and our PR sort of guru is a fellow named Ben Goodman, and Ben has just done a sterling job, riding the rodeo with all these different needs and requests from the people who are coming out. Their PR people want to make them look as good as possible, and the studios want them to best represent the films, and that's all fair. It just means that there are a lot of little details to deal with that are ever changing, and you think you've got them done, and you haven't quite gotten them yet done. But he's done a great job. We have more people, I think, than we've ever had coming out this year. I think we might have reached 6. A few years ago, we had Laird Hamilton, and Dave Kalama, and we had, I think, Jake Gyllenhaal in that year, and Helen Hunt, and Mike Myers, and can't remember who else. But that was the last time we had this many people around. So Ben's been doing a great job at that sort of celebrity wrangling stuff, and his mom is sort of the other co-director of the festival, along with Stella as well, and she handles a lot of the travel stuff, the booking of flights and the hotels, and chases some films for me, and it's just a huge help as well to the festival. Wouldn't want to do it without either of them for sure. There's a lot of people I could talk about. Bob Craver and Janine Thomason, the director of operations and the event production manager, respectively, both have been with me since the first year. I remember that first meeting with the two of them in a little office I had in Putney at the time when we were just sort of banging around this idea and would they be interested kind of thing. And 20 years later, they're still doing it.
And you are too, which is amazing because I know how difficult it is. There is one other secret jewel in your jewel box that I don't think hardly anyone knows about, but if you get a couple of these passes, you get to go to. And that's the filmmaker brunch. And again, if you like insider stuff, and that's where I met Ben Goldman, I met him there. But I also met some very important other people there.
Ben Goodman, you mean?
Ben Goodman, that's it. So the filmmaker brunch, that hardly gets any attention.
We don't talk about where and when that is. As you know, just to be clear, we don't want the world there or if they haven't chosen to purchase a ticket that provides entry to it. But yes, it's when you get the ticket, you'll know where it is, and it's on Saturday morning at about 9 o'clock, and it runs until about 10:30, which means or maybe it starts at 9:30. I want to say it's 9 o'clock though, and it just allows you entry into all the filmmakers panels. Any of those passes that have the inclusion of the filmmakers brunch have that benefit as well.
And it's a good one. It's a good one. The other thing that people really need to be aware of is that there really are some excellent films, and I know this and you know this, Barry. Some films over the years you brought in that no one has ever heard of. They don't know anything about, and then they go, well, I don't know anything about that film. Now, yeah, in a couple of cases you don't even have the trailers, but there are the trailers at MauiFilmFestival.com. But besides that, a lot of these gems don't really show up till later on in the year as people start to get more attention and focus in PR as they get ready for the Academy Awards. So a lot of these are sleepers and are discovered here first, and then later on they achieve the fame, as more people.
A life of their own.
They absolutely do. And that happens at this film festival. And I think a lot of people who have been going over the years and make a point of going have found this to be the case, which is really nice. But if you were to do that as an overview, I'm putting you on the spot here, what couple of films would be in that category?
I was just looking at it as you were talking. Which film's in that category? There's a really smart film. It's edgy but really smart. It's called Crushed, CRSHD.
I'm trying to see where that is here.
It's all alphabetical, and it's about 3 young women who are very smart and sort of just being endlessly witty with each other.
Oh, yes,
One of whom
CRS.
decides
Okay.
that night is going to be the night that she loses her virginity. So it's sort of like a smarter version of what a lot of these, sort of drunken kid comedies are all about. It's way beyond that, and I think that will have a life beyond its festival universe. I'll talk about films we haven't talked about.
Yeah.
I think the other one that's actually going to do really well.
I mean, just wait before you go on. That's people, in case you didn't mention. So that's Saturday, June 15th. That's Saturday after the Taste of Wailea at 7:30. Okay.
Yeah. God, there are so many of them. Let's see. The Farewell, which is our Saturday night 8 o'clock film, and actually is followed at 10 o'clock by Luciano Pavarotti, or it's actually called Pavarotti, directed by Ron Howard. We just found out, for some reason, I think there must have been a director's cut or something. I'm not exactly sure why these times are so different, but for the longest time, up until today, literally today, after the flyer had been printed, it says that film was 170, that's 170 minutes long. And actually it's 114 minutes long, which is roughly an hour less, which makes for a much easier, imagined couple of hours out there under the stars to watch it following our 8 o'clock film on Wednesday night, which will be following the tribute that we're doing to Awkwafina. A lot of people know from Crazy Rich Asians, but she stars in this movie, was a huge hit at Sundance. The accolades that she's been getting for her performance are sort of like, likely Oscar nominee kind of stuff. So that'll be the 8 o'clock film. I think that's one people may not really know about yet. That's going to really have a very successful life.
Okay, I'm lost. I'm looking at the things now. What night is that?
That's on Saturday night.
Oh, Saturday night. Okay.
Cinema. And it's followed by the Pavarotti film.
Okay.
As well. So those are, but her film in particular, probably both of them. I mean, Pavarotti could catch fire. The people I show Pavarotti to are like, oh my God, this is incredible.
Yeah.
So I think Plus One's going to have a really good life. I talked about a little bit before. Joe Manganiello's film, Bottom of the Ninth. He's terrific in the film. I mean, it knocked me out, actually, his performance. I was going in there kind of skeptical that this was really going to be a special movie, and I was wrong. It was wonderful. I really loved it. It brought me to tears at the end, actually, that film did.
Wow.
Dave, We Rise Up will have an interesting sort of post-film festival run. It's a really smart film that talks about the future and what we need to all be conscious of and work towards manifesting. Gay Chorus Deep South is a film that won the Best Documentary Award at the Tribeca Film Festival back in late April, I think it was, or early May, I forget now. And that's a film that is about both a gay chorus in San Francisco and a gospel choir in Oakland who join forces and travel from, the Bay Area to Mississippi and Tennessee and through the Carolinas, just trying to create a bridge between what people imagine people that look like them or whose lives are lived, in ways that they don't understand, and they just try to be seen as people. And some of the revelations that happen for the people in these audiences are mind-boggling. So that's a really wonderful film. Great music, but important. That's another one of those, tell me something I don't know about gay people having a rough ride. It's just so well done.
Yeah. I have to say something about the Becoming Nobody, of course, because this is Ram Dass.
Yeah, that'll always have an audience for itself. But Ram Dass's new film is called Becoming Nobody. It sort of documents, 50 plus years in his life where he's been, everything from a rock star Harvard psychologist to a counterculture, rascally adventurer to an Eastern holy man, stroke survivor, compassionate caregiver. I mean, he's just one of a kind. And the film's about him trying to outgrow his ego and become nobody, become just a presence in the world that matters, and is compassionate towards those in need rather than just I'm the great Ram Dass kind of thing, which was never who he was. But it just really makes that point very clearly in the movie.
Which is beautiful. Wait, stop. I want to talk about that one.
Yep. You want to talk about that one?
Yeah, well, no, about Ram Dass, because, he was very close to death. They called all of his circle out, and people flew in from all around the world that knew him, some of his special friends. And he was in the hospital a couple of times, and they really gave him a diagnosis where, he wasn't supposed to survive. And he had survived since then. Twice there were scares. And, again, prayers work, and that energy, who knows where that energy comes from. But he did survive it when people really thought that this was it. But at 88 years old, and his health has been at that point. He is planning to be there, but this, could be the last time, honestly. I mean, it's amazing that he survived
I didn't
what
want
he
to say
did.
it, but I mean, I've heard other people that know him well talk about that. So he's I think, in a fairly frail position these days, but he's also determined to be there for this, and barring unforeseen circumstances, I know he will be. We've already, everything's in place for him to do that. There's another couple of films, one of which is called Echo in the Canyon. It's a film that is the 10 o'clock film on Sunday night. It documents the era in Southern California, Laurel Canyon to be specific, when people like Tom Petty and Brian Wilson and Eric Clapton and Roger McGuinn of the Byrds and Jackson Browne and Michelle Pfeiffer and, were sort of doing their thing, creating the California sound, which was then, taken up by people like Beck and Nora Jones and others, and Jacob Dylan, Bob Dylan's son, who actually is sort of the person that takes us through this film. He's sort of the narrator or the moderator or the, whatever, the guide, I guess would be a better word. So that's a film that's wonderful, and the music is great. That's one I really... I know, that's your favorite film.
It is. Well, I knew I knew most all of those people. I was in that music scene. I was a DJ in Los Angeles when all of that was breaking, and I got to see him at the Troubadour, and I got, go to the parties, and so, that's really important to me. I mean, I can't wait to hear.
You're going to have to take a nap there, Grandma.
I don't know, 10 o'clock at night on a Sunday,
Barry? Nap time. Get to know me.
That is one that's going to definitely have long legs. There's no doubt about it. That film is going to have reverberations.
It's released on the mainland, but not here, and it won't be for a while here. So
it's
really
the first release here.
The other one I want to mention is a film by a local filmmaker and sort of world-famous waterman. His name is Mike Waltz. Mike came here in 1979. He was the best friend of Hoyle Schweitzer's son, Matt Schweitzer. Hoyle's the guy that invented the windsurfer, and they used to play around with windsurfers in California. They came here, and Mike just fell in love with the place, decided he wanted to build his life here, and became one of the preeminent watermen in the world. Great windsurfer, great big wave surfer, sort of great in all those different ways. But he also was someone who always loved the idea of making movies. So he shot a lot of footage, and the footage he has, which goes back almost 40 years and is, for the largest part, Maui-centric stuff, tells the story of the evolution of extreme ocean sports on the planet, but really in Maui, which is where most of it happened, going from regular surfing to stand-up paddle to tow-in surfing to foilboard surfing to kiting. I mean, it says he's been there for everything. He's been, good friends and sort of Ohana-type family with people like Laird and Dave Kalama and Kai Lenny and this laundry list of people. So he's shown a film called This Excellent Life.
This is on Sunday at the Celestial Film at 8 o'clock.
It's the 8 o'clock film, but it'll be preceded by a couple of shorts, one of which is a 20-minute short on Paige Alms, one of the best water women in the world, big wave rider extraordinaire. So we're showing that. We're also showing another film about Kimmy Warner, who people know as the deep diving, without unaided by tanks, deep diving sort of fisherwoman who just was raised to learn how to find food in the ocean and became about as good at it as damn near anyone who's ever done it. And she's a wonderful person. I think she's going to be here. We just firmed that fill up, so I'm not sure of the details on that part of it. But in any event, that's going to be a wonderful night out there. If you love surfing, if you love music, hello. Where else are you going to be? Oh, I know. You're going to be at the Castle Theater watching We Rise Up. Yeah, that's kind of stupid counter-programming, actually. It's just how it all worked out. People have to make a choice that night. Sorry about that.
So I've always been wondering, and I don't think I've ever asked you. Now, I mean, you're a father and a grandfather. I mean, you have, two twin gorgeous boys, both of them married now, right?
No, one of them's married.
Only one married. Okay.
And the other one's just having a really good time.
I bet.
They're both having a good time, being a wise guy.
Do you have any other children besides those two?
We have a daughter who's actually older than they are by less than 2 years. So we had our little chickadees. They were 3 of them within 2 years. Our daughter Maya was 21 months old when the guys were born, and
wow.
So it was. We were living in San Francisco at the time, which was a great place to raise them, right near Golden Gate Park. And yet, after a couple of years of stoplights, I said, I can't do this. We got to get out of here.
Really?
Every time I turn around, I'm stopping in another corner. It's just not. I don't like to roll like that. So we just took a flight. We had $3,000, and we decided to come to Maui knowing we were going to be living in a couple of tents on William Vitarelli's land, if you remember the Vitarelli family. And we just sort of made it happen with, I don't know, we were ballsier than smarter, I guess, at the time. We just thought, let's just give this a. If we're not going to try it now, when are we going to try it?
Wow.
And 40 years later, here we are.
Wow. So the kids, when you started this film festival 20 years ago, were still small.
Yeah, well, they were 20 or so years old, something like that. Our daughter was a little bit older. But yeah, they were. When you look at the pictures from the first year, Stowe just dug some out the other day. We all look like we're shorten the tooth rather than long in the tooth. That's for sure.
So was the Father's Day thing ever tied in with this idea of the whole film festival? Was that?
No, it was actually just a week that used to be a slow week in the resort and a slow week in Maui in general. But after 9/11, people felt comfortable, and they've continued to feel comfortable traveling here rather than other places around the world. Not that crazy stuff's not happening everywhere, and it just became a busier and busier and busier time of year. And they're pretty much, when I got here, I remember people used to talk about like a sine wave. Would go up and go down, the tourism numbers.
Yeah.
Now it's more like a sawtooth. It just goes up and down a little bit, day to day or month to month, and it's pretty busy most all the time. And I don't know, it just is what it is. I find solace in the fact that if I look out to the ocean or get in the ocean, it's pretty much the same as it was. I mean, it's a little bit different in some of the
it's World Ocean Day this Saturday, and if you go out on some of the cruises, some of them free, you can see how the ocean is not the same, unfortunately, because there's plastic filming.
No, that's why this film is so important. This We Rise Up film. Yeah. It's true cinema activism. They made this film to light a candle under the oculi of anyone who doesn't really understand how important this moment in time is, and the need to change things and work in some way, whatever way works best for you, but to work in some way to change things.
Well, and it's very, very true. And reflecting back, since it is 20 years again, you started this with a lot of passion and energy and enthusiasm and knowledge and love. But what was your fascination with films before you began this that kind of got you on the trajectory to get this all started?
I just shot a lot of brownie black and white shots as a kid. I just fell in love with making images, and actually did it for a long time. Was a producer and director for a long time. Did a lot of shows out here that people have got here maybe 20 years ago don't know anything about. But I would have stuff on all the network affiliate stations in Honolulu. Sometimes they'd go beyond that, sometimes not. Did all kinds of different things. A lot of Hawaiian cultural stuff. A lot of sports, but I was drawn to. I did a doctorate 100 years ago, but it was a World's Fair-like presentation long before computers were easily available to people. And I had to control it like I would an organ with rheostats to keep everything in sync with each other. But the idea was to put people back in touch with the natural beauty that surrounded them. I saw this digital thing coming, and I thought, fine and good. I'm sure it'll get way better than it is right now. We're talking now about 1973, way back when. Mm-hmm. And I just felt something that didn't sit right with me and where I thought this technology might take us. And I hate to say it, but in so many ways it has. It's a word that doesn't start with a T. It starts with an F. Sounds like technology quite a bit, but it's not. We followed that. And I just sort of got that at an early age and created this dissertation that was called The Wonder Wheel, about putting people back in touch with the natural beauty that surrounded them. And I had footage from NASA and electron microphotographic slices of old rocks and native chant and multilingual graphics on the screens. It was way ahead of its time, and in many ways, sort of a kindergarten version of what Louis Schwartzberg.
I just was thinking that's how you get connected with
that. That's why we connect. Yeah, he gets that I get it, and I get that what he's doing, and I'm just there to help support him at this point in my life. So
because it could have been you.
Could have been me. It was. I was going around to Harvard and Yale and all of these different art centers up by Tanglewood. I was sort of doing this little dog and pony show. I'd show up with all my stuff and fire it all up and just control the flow of all these different images to speed them up or slow them down so they sort of work together. In fact, the original dissertation had a whole lot of images from Bindu to Ojos is what it was called. I think it eventually became Be Here Now. So I used a lot of that stuff. I did a lot of water reflection stuff, spectacular sort of hydroglyphics, I call them, that would look like some sort of cosmic writing where the sunlight met the water that was undecipherable to me, but there was definitely power in those moments. And so it was a really out there kind of thing. I mean, acid had nothing to do with it. Nor did mushrooms, just to be clear. Nothing. Hash did not have a place at the table either.
So yeah, you weren't a hippie.
For all of you who missed that era, you missed a lot.
But definitely you were touched by that magic, and it inspired you enough to, when you came here, to be tuned in to the beauty of Maui, which inspired you to come here, right? Just the beauty of nature and getting away from the madness.
Give me 1/10 of a second here. Hey, Cynthia, I'm on the radio. Is there something you need to tell me?
I'll give you 1/10 of a second. I love it. Well, I know I've been holding Barry up, actually. Barry didn't think he could even...
Are you here now?
Yeah, I'm here now.
Oh,
no.
Okay, great. Thanks. Bye. We got a lot going on. Look, I didn't come in there for a reason. It wasn't arbitrary. I mean, my assistant had to go up to her kid's final day of school, so she's just now back in the other office and called me to say she's back and she needs something from me. So we can hang until the show's over. But
we got 3 minutes. So we're almost over.
But I had to take that call.
No. I mean, it's fascinating because I never ever have had a chance to talk to you about some of this stuff, and it kind of explains a lot about why you choose the films you do. And you're pretty. I mean, your statements, and people may not realize this. Some of them are now much more in capital letters, but you pick some of the words that you really do that speak from your soul. I feel they speak from your soul.
Yeah, we do. I don't know. You may or may not remember. Did you go to last year's festival at the Celestial at all, or did you go to the MACC even?
I went to the MACC, yeah.
Do you remember that thing called Trust the Future?
Yes.
Okay, so that has now been renamed as Create the Future, because trusting the future has not worked out that well for the last couple of years. I think we got to grab the future by its you-know-what and just make it do it. We need to have it be.
Yeah.
So we rebranded that idea. But I have a lot of fun with all these different names and stuff. They just come out of me sort of naturally.
Well, being a poet as I am, and I've written lots and lots and lots and lots of poems, I mean, some of this is really inspired, and your words are very powerful words, and they relate and capture exactly what's going on.
Well, you never write the best stuff. It writes itself.
Well, that's true.
You may have to tweak it a bit from how it first flows out of you, but who the hell knows where it comes from? I don't know.
No, I 100% agree.
Hey, can I just take a minute and just thank
please do
all of the people who help make this happen, including all of our volunteers, many of the people I mentioned earlier. I'm not sure if I mentioned Keith Rainey in that little riff, who's our volunteer coordinator. I think he's probably still looking for some volunteers. There's a link on the website you can go to volunteer for the festival. You earn credits to get tickets and go to different things. But there are so many people. I mean, there's for most of the year it's 4 or 5, 2, 3 people pushing this thing around, and all of a sudden it becomes 6, and then 12, and 20, and then it becomes a couple of hundred volunteers plus on top of that. So all those people matter. All the folks in the Wailea Resort, all the GMs through all the years of this festival's incarnation have been there consistently with room nights and helping throw parties and just helping in general. And a lot of them go out of their way to make this thing special for the community, for the festival, for themselves. So I don't want to let them go by without saying thanks. I also want to thank the long-standing support of both the Hawaii Tourism Association and the County of Maui's Office of Economic Development, but also Alaska Airlines, which is our official airline this year. And they've been just a total and complete pleasure to work with. They've brought out all of our honorees, and they've done a great job doing it, or they're about to, I should say, but they've been a pleasure to work with. And there's a laundry list of them that I don't really have time to name by name, but I will just say that if you get a minute, just go to the sponsors link on the website and see who's there. Because to the extent that you support these companies and in turn make them more robust so they can in turn support us, you help ensure the future of the festival going forward.
And please, I know this is so important to so many people who do live here in this community. Plan to get there early and treat those people who are volunteering and helping, whether it's getting you to the buses or taking you off the buses and guiding you to where you're going to be sitting. But lots of aloha goes a long way. Sometimes there are lines, but these people are really doing a great job and doing it a lot of times for free. So lots of aloha really does work here. And you can do your low back chairs, and you can do your thing, but, use the space wisely because a lot of people are going to be out there having a great time.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So I want to just one special thanks to Stella for all the work she does. She
Absolutely.
really works hard to make this thing happen and be special for people. And it wouldn't be right to let a thank you to our spiritual advisor, Chuchi 2.0.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I love
really
the picture you've got. You've got the picture of him posted on.
She calms things down a little bit. Yeah, she's got her page in the ebook.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
and again, Stella, we love Stella too. And all those years, my gosh, what she puts up with.
Oh, and actually, my right hand, sort of Cynthia Pagolo, has just been extremely helpful in all kinds of ways, including working on me with the website and the emails. I mean, she's just been terrific. And on top of all the other things she does, she's our print traffic person. She's the person responsible for all the films getting here in a timely way. Naomi Adams, who is this year's box office manager and works with a key staff doing that and making sure that works. I want to throw a shout-out to Vendini, by the way. Anyone that needs a ticketing system, we started a new system a couple of years ago called Vendini, like Houdini and vending. Vendini, and they are just fantastic to work with. We are so stoked that we found them. And I'm sure I'm forgetting a whole bunch of other people, but please take no offense. This is not possible without your help as well, even though you might not have been named in this.
Well, thank you for taking the whole hour, and we appreciate you calling in. Lots
You're
of
welcome,
love to you,
Cindy.
Barry. Okay, take care.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.